It is a good morning, and sometimes, personally, it may not be a good morning at your home because you know someone who has COVID, you know someone who is in ICU, you know someone who is paying hefty bills because of COVID-19. But from us, we hope that you're having a good morning, and we're hoping that as you have these conversations, you will start to discover that life is interesting, that life is awesome, that life ought to be beautiful, and because God created life for that. And in fact, Jesus came to confirm it, that he came to give us life, and not just give us that when we are in fellowship with him, we enjoy that life, and not just random life, in its abundance. This morning, we talk about a possible phenomenon that Africans grapple with, a model father. I know that many people don't think that there's a model father, because all of us have different fathers who treated us differently, who, if for you were beaten terribly, you think that, my father was a serious man, he beat me, he was a successful father. But there's a guy who would argue with you because their father never beat them, and for them that's a perfect father because their father was not disciplinarian. So this morning we host Jesse Ainebyoona to talk about who a model father is on the Family Talk Show. My name is Nkore. Good morning. Jesse Ainebyoona is an entrepreneur, he's a speaker, he's a mentor, he's a father to beautiful children. At least I've seen one. Very, very, very beautiful children in there. Beautiful home. If you enter his sitting room, there's like a playground there, and the chairs are far, the TV is far, the dining is like kept there because the children have to play. You could say that he's a model father, and so this morning we have him to talk about being a model father. Good morning.
Good morning, John.
How are you?
Wonderful.
So, first of all, he's not just a model father, he's a model man because he has no 8 to 5. The wife has no 8 to 5. They're home chilling and they are prospering. What you call it here?
You make it sound like you just stay home and money finds you there.
Yeah, that's how it looks from the outside.
Yes. COVID has helped us to realize that you can work from home.
Okay.
And really what work means is that you're providing service. It doesn't matter where you're providing the service from. You might be providing service from an 8 to 5 job, as you call it, or you might be providing service from the comfort of your home. Either way, you're providing service.
So what service do you provide?
The service that I provide is that, first of all, I'm a trainer. Okay. So I train people in areas of sales, customer service, communication, public speaking, and leadership. Okay. That is the service that I do provide.
Okay. After this show, I'll get like a self-assessment. Am I a good public speaker? Yeah. But okay, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank
I
you,
know
John.
that you are a father, and not just a random father, you're passionate about fathering your children.
Sure.
And this morning we talk about a model father. In the Bible, let's start from the Bible.
Yes.
Is there a kind that is a model father? Because we know in the Bible they say that the men in the Bible are failures at fathering. Terrible. I think the only icon I know is Joseph, the father of Jesus, who says he was intentional about keeping Jesus in his carpentry shop working. Apart from that, I don't see a father mentor another. In fact, there are so many failures in the Bible.
Yes.
that even Noah, he nearly missed his family coming into the ark. He had to gather them as they were drunk into the ark.
Yes.
Is there a model father, and does the Bible paint a picture of a model father?
I'm glad that you begin with that, because I think the Bible has got two sides of everything. It has an example that we can emulate, but it also has a warning that we need to avoid. And so I think it's good that we struggle to find a perfect example, because perhaps there is no perfection. And the only perfect person that we can look to is the person of God. So I think when we look at all these beautiful examples, look at Abraham, look at Noah, look at Moses, look at David. I mean, they all had their successes, but they also had their struggles. And I think that helps us realize that we are human. There is nobody who is perfect, but we can look to God, who is our perfect example and yardstick for fatherhood.
So what are the tenets of God in there that for you can easily point out and say that because he did that means that he's a perfect father?
Yes. One is that God is a relational father. he desires to relate with us. He's relational.
And African fathers are failing on that, eh? Yeah.
Well, some yes, some do, but to a greater extent it is a struggle. So God in his supremacy, in his almighty being, desires. One thing about God is that he desires to connect and relate with us. And so that is one thing about God as a father that is really remarkable. But the other thing is that he knows our needs and he meets at our point of need. There's a scripture that says, will you ask for bread and he gives you a stone? So this is a father who knows us. He knows our needs and he meets us at our point of need. He also provides for us according to what we need. More interestingly about God as a father is that he disciplines us. Just like you mentioned earlier.
We are going to get there.
Exactly. So I mean, when you look at the person of God, he disciplines us, he provides for us, he hears us, he relates with us. I think that's the God, that is the perfect father that I know.
I know some people who fear God because he's more disciplinarian than a loving God. Does that... and I know that Africans emulate that, and because we're in the African context, maybe we can talk about that. We love as we discipline, and I know because also from my father, he beat me more than showed me that he loved me. And of course now I think that maybe he beat me because he loved me. Is there a line that disciplining equals love, and how do we discipline with love?
How do you discipline with love? You use the statement, he beat me.
Yes, terrible.
It's nice to put it like he disciplined me.
Okay, he did. But he beat me.
You know why? Because if you look at it, if you look at this example, if you go to the hospital, when someone goes through an operation, you wouldn't say that the doctor cut up the patient. No, the doctor operated on the patient by, so it's about the wording, So, but back to the point of discipline. I'm glad that we have some plants here, and in agriculture there is something they call pruning. Pruning is when you remove those other parts of the plant that you don't quite want on the plant to enable it to grow very well. So in the same way, if we are not pruned, if we are not disciplined, we shall end up going wayward. So again, disciplining out of love. It depends on certain stages. The way I'm disciplining my children is not the same way I get disciplined right now. Right now, let me use this. The Bible is very clear about the use of a rod and a spank. I know some people will have different views about it, but the Bible is very clear.
We have to beat.
Exactly. I use it where I have to. And the reason for that is because, the scripture says that the heart of folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline will drive it away. So in that case, if I have to discipline my children appropriately, let me use that as a word. In my side, to this day, I still experience discipline. In my life. How? I may not be spanked, but I might go through a situation that disciplines me. Take for example, there is this whole thing of get rich quick scheme. Some people are only disciplined when they put in money and it goes. That's a form of discipline. They will never do it again. So it's a form of discipline. So at different stages of life, we are disciplined differently, but the most important word is appropriately. And God does it out of love.
There are many things about fatherhood that we can talk about today. We can talk about relationship with mommy, relationship with children. Let's first, because I know that a relationship with mommy-daddy relationship is key in fathering. How your children see you is the way they will always relate with even their people. Because I know there's a saying that you marry your parents in a way because you have seen the model example, and so you will even pass it on in your family. I think the question is, what should that relationship be? How should mommy and daddy relate at home? Or how should daddy treat mommy, because we're talking about fatherhood, that will emulate a good father?
Okay. The best demonstration of love to children is the love that happens between daddy and mommy. That's the best. They say the best way to love your children is to love their mother. Because when you see that, and I saw that growing up, I will tell you, I never ever saw my dad and my mom conflict in public.
You are privileged.
Never, at any one time.
You are privileged.
I thank God for that.
Yeah.
They never showed it to us. Well, I know that they have been married now for over 30 years. It was never a perfect marriage.
Yeah.
They had their challenges. But at least one thing that I learned is I never resolve conflicts with my wife in public. Why? Because that's what I saw. They never ever sat me down to teach me that. They lived it. They demonstrated it.
Yeah.
So in the same way, the perfect example of raising up a child is what the children see at home. Because many times how we are raised is dependent on what we saw with our parents.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the way the father and the mother relate is a perfect demonstration of love in a home. But also the other thing is, you mentioned something very important. When children are growing up, my daughters as an example, the first man in their lives
is daddy.
is the daddy.
Yes.
So how I treat them matters, because at the end of the day, I should be the kind of man that they crave to get married to.
Yeah.
So their husband will they will have a way to measure their husband based on how daddy treated us.
Yeah. Okay, so that saying is true, that you marry your parents. So if I saw my mother do particular things particularly, I will marry that kind of girl. Or if I saw my father for ladies, if I saw my father say some things, do some things, dress a particular way, I'll marry that kind. So you're qualifying in that statement.
I do, because growing up, we develop a certain blueprint. We develop a self-concept. We develop a paradigm as young children that is dependent on what we saw in the home. Now, it takes an intentional person to break that paradigm.
Oh, yeah.
You might want to say, my dad was a drunkard. I never want to be a drunkard. There is that. But for most people, what they saw daddy do is what they are also going to do.
They will do,
They will do. So it subconsciously gets into the children as they grow up because of what they see between daddy and mommy. Yeah.
All right, let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll be chatting through the actualities of who a model father could look like or should be. If you're a man and you're looking for mentorship out there, Jesse is one of those that could. But also, this show, I hope it will answer key questions on what a father could look like, or what a good example of a husband could look like. Let's take a break. When we come back, the Family Talk Show still continues.
In the world in which I lived by then, there was no nursery school in our area. We couldn't hear about them. Those days, you would have basically 3 clothes. The one you use for everyday work, and then the one you keep for Sunday.
I asked some of my friends, whom I knew used to go to Shevambe every weekend. I tried to describe it. They said, we know that girl.
Things of this world really don't matter so much to me. Yes, I need them, but they really wouldn't take me away from God.
I was born under a mango tree, but the mango tree is since gone.
And you're watching Family TV. Ow!
No way, nah. As long as you lead my way. Yo, Wagwan people, well, it's Scoopy Bly representing Christ to the fullest. And you tuned in and watching Family TV, Gospel Vibes, not a dial blessing.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Yo, what's up, everyone? It's your girls, a bully on the mic, the woman of steel, and you were chilling with some special on Gospel Vibes on Family TV every Thursday, 4 p.m. Don't touch that dial. We love you.
Welcome back from that very short break. My name is John Nkore, and today on the Family Talk Show we talk about a model father, who a father should be, and fathers out there, what they should be picking out and emulating for their families, for their children, for their wife, and so. So this morning we host Jesse Ainebyoona to talk about that, and previously we talked about what the Bible looks at as a model father, and some of the examples that came out of there, and indeed also disciplining as a key component of relationship. So after the short break, let's get into it and talk about who a model father should be, examples that fathers should be emulating. Jesse Ainebyoona here to talk about who a model father is. Let's get into it. Who is a model father? Examples of a model father. What do they do? How do they smell? How do they be? What kind of hair should they have? What is model for an African setting?
Okay. What is model? I would like to just mention three things about a model father. To begin with, a model father does his best to model after the characteristics that we talked about that God has.
Okay.
So it's intentional to...
And those are relationship and
disciplinarian, unconditional love.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, as you study the scripture, they all come out. Unconditional love. I mean, he loves us on our best day as he does on our worst day. And that's the same thing. You know, you don't want to have a child grow up feeling like Daddy loves me when I perform so well in class, but when I don't, I am not. So we want to provide that space for a father to know, for the children to know that they are loved regardless. So
when
that
they fail, Daddy loves you. When you succeed, even better.
Better. So that's one thing. Modeling, doing your best to be a man of God's word. Doing your best to follow after God. So it begins with your relationship with your Creator. That's the first step. And why is that important? That is important for me because we were never raised by perfect fathers. Just like we looked for them in the Bible and we don't quite see them. Our fathers were never perfect. My father was good. He's not perfect. Your father was good. He's not perfect.
Not at all.
Exactly. So the one perfect father that we can follow after is God. Because we all raise our children based on how we were raised. So the best example to look at to is the example of God. That's the first thing. But the second thing is, after looking to God, it comes down to how I live my life. I need to live my life in an exemplary way. In an exemplary way. Why? Because children see what you do and they will do what they see, not what they hear you say.
They copy.
I mean, our second born is a perfect example of someone who copies. She literally copies everything that she sees us do. So we want to live an exemplary life. If you want to train your children to read, they had better see you read. You cannot tell them read and you're always glued on
a laptop or on a phone.
Exactly. So living an exemplary life, the way you treat their mother, the way you treat other people, the way you carry yourself, the way you dress, everything about you should demonstrate to them that this is how I want to live. But the other thing and the third one is...
just there, I think that also takes time. To say that if you're to be an exemplary father, that means you have to be present for them to see you do the things that you're doing.
Exactly.
So you can't just live an exemplary life away from home.
Yes.
You have to live it inside the space of family,
of their home.
Space of home.
Exactly.
All right. So does presence tell something, or they could be away and...
Interestingly, the third one was being present in their lives. So in a sense, it brings us into that. So
let's talk about it.
Being present. And I must say, for me, and for many fathers, I guess, that has been one of my biggest struggles in fatherhood.
Being present.
So I didn't know how to be present. Why? Because my dad modeled the ethic of hard work. He was out working all the time. And so for me, I knew that a man
had better be working.
Had better be working. If I was at home, I didn't know how to be home. I knew how to be out there working.
Making money,
Exactly. So even when I was at home, and it took the help of my wife to call me out and constantly bring me back on track and say, look, honey, you need to spend more time with our children. And I didn't know what that looks like until I had to learn how to get into their space, play their games. Why is that important? That is important because, you see, children, you don't bring them aside and say, now let me give you a lesson on how to behave on the table. No.
Exactly.
It is in the being with them that you train them and that you bond with them.
If you're good on the table, therefore they are also learning from you how you hold the fork, how you eat.
It's not a time to say, now it's class time, life lesson number 2. No.
Exactly.
It is as you be with them, as you play with them, that you say, no, Ruby, it's important for you to share with your sister. So now they have learned a lesson on sharing. If at all there is a word they have picked kept in the neighborhood that is not appropriate,
Yes.
you will rebuke it and get rid of it.
Yeah.
So it is in the being with them. I think most of us fathers, we miss the opportunity to train our children because we are absent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My goodness, presence is a key thing. And
Absolutely.
And maybe let's talk about it further. When I am at home and I'm just at home as a father, how can I be intentional with being present? You said that you didn't know how to be present.
Yes.
Please teach us. How did you learn? And
How did I learn?
how are you present? Because sometimes you can be present physically, but you're not there.
Very true.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be at home physically,
Yeah.
but mentally,
Yes.
maybe you're on the phone,
Yeah.
especially now with social media, you're watching a movie. So you are really present, yet you are absent
Yeah.
in the literal sense. How can one practice being present?
Yeah.
I think it's important for first of all to see what they do and be involved.
Yeah.
So for instance, my daughters used to love to play games like building blocks.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I can be involved in building the blocks. So we say, yeah, girls, we are going to build blocks with daddy.
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah.
we bring the blocks, we put them
First
together.
of all, buy the blocks. Because if the blocks are not there, then they haven't discovered that
Exactly.
they know how to build blocks.
Exactly. So children play all kinds of games.
Yeah.
They will run after themselves. Let them run after you.
Yeah.
They will go to the swing. Go with them to the swing and push them.
Yeah.
If you have the swing at home, or if not, you can find a place in the neighborhood where there are children's games.
Or build the swing. Because I remember we didn't have one. We built it with a road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're raising boys, they will play football.
Yeah.
Play with them.
Yeah.
So get into their space.
Yeah.
If they like to play with toys, play with the toys. Maybe you're reading a story and you want to act out something, act with them.
Yeah.
So be involved with them. And the more you are involved with them, the more you will see what you can do with them.
Then where do I put my work? Because that seems like all the time, apart from the time they're sleeping.
Okay, you don't have to do this all day long.
Okay.
Let me give you this example. My wife, Diana, her father was a very busy man.
Yeah.
Most of the time he was out of the country. But you know what? They didn't feel his absence. Why? Because whenever he was around, the few times he was around, he was really around.
Yes.
He played with them,
Yes.
went out with them.
Yeah.
So even when he was gone, they
Yeah.
didn't feel it. Why? Because there was quality time.
Yeah.
So if you're struggling to do that, you can gazette time.
Okay.
You also need to just know this, that the way you are a man employed somewhere or you have a business, you need to look at your family as part of your job assignments.
Okay.
Key
Yeah.
job description.
Yeah.
So that you say, I have time with my client,
Yeah.
but at this time of the day, maybe between 5 and 6 p.m., now that we are working from home, or whenever I come back home, 30 minutes with my children.
Yeah, in
Put
fact-
aside the phone, the laptop, everything,
Yeah.
and just say, now, the way you concentrate with your clients,
Yeah.
now these
Are my clients for this time?
for this time.
Someone has actually said before, and he's a friend of ours, he has said that if you don't thrive at home, you will not thrive at work.
Absolutely.
That if home is failing,
Yes.
however much money you make,
Yes.
it is lousy, it's terrible because you will not enjoy it,
Yeah.
because home is doing bad.
Yeah.
And so talk to us about money, because being a model father also involves providing.
Yeah.
And being able to actually give, even if it's not so much, but it's just giving, really.
Yes.
My father never gave us money until we got to boarding school. That's my example. But I know that now, man, if a kid doesn't have a phone, they are terrible at fathering. If a kid doesn't have games, blocks, man, I never played with blocks, But now, a millennial father now has to have blocks in the home for the kid's brain to be stimulated. Talk to me about providing, especially the giving of money and other things in the home.
First of all, for you to provide,
Yeah.
you must have.
Yeah.
So it's important that as fathers, we treat our work seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Treat our work seriously in the sense that it also is an example, because when you work hard,
Yeah.
children learn to work hard like their father.
Exactly.
We have so many millennials today. We have so many young people that don't know how to work.
Yeah.
They don't know how to work. They get jobs and they cannot keep them.
So is it because they don't have good examples, or because they're just millennials?
Perhaps the environment in which they have grown up in, they want to get easy things the easy way.
Yeah.
So I think fathers, first of all, need to model a work ethic, learning to work hard.
Okay.
And let me also say at this point that there may be few jobs, but there is a lot of work.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there is work to do. And
Okay.
if I can learn to take care of the lawn, That's the attitude of working at home carries with me. I go with it to the workplace. So learn to work hard. As a father, work hard to provide for the family. So for starters, be effective in your work. Do your best to find mentors that can help you diversify your income, increase on your income without compromising time with your family. That's important. And then when it comes to providing, of course, we provide the basic needs, but also it's important that now you begin to train children how to handle money. So I know families that involve children in the budgeting, so that a child knows how much money is coming in.
Isn't that huge?
Well,
budgeting, how much money comes in and how much money should be spent on what?
In a sense, when you give them pocket money, you want to help them to know how to manage their money. So that they know how to save a bit of the money. So that they know how to invest. So that they know how to live below their income. So that they can have a saving at the end of the day. Those are opportunities to train children how to handle money. And that's very important.
So what you're saying is families should be intentional in allowing children spaces with money.
Yes, they should. I think if you keep money away from children, you know what will happen? They will grow to know that money is very scarce.
And
so
sacred.
When they get it, they don't want to give. They don't. So children should actually see that if daddy is giving to this community, daddy is giving to this cause, it helps them to know that they can become givers. My wife is very generous. But as I also see, her mom is a very generous person. How did she learn it? From her parents. So the way we handle money trickles down to the way our children will handle money. Not only now, but also in future.
My goodness, probably the last question I will have today is house chores. Does your father need to wash utensils? Does he need to clean the house? Fathers, I know that fathers don't do that. Okay, my father never did, talk to us about that, and does that in a way stimulate goodness of a father in the house environment?
Okay, let me give you this interesting example. Normally after lunch, I will take the broom and sweep. Okay?
You're a model father, really.
Because we want to demonstrate to the children that this work is not just meant for the maid. You know what happens is that when we leave all this work to the maid, the children will know that for us children we don't do anything.
Even mommy and daddy don't do anything.
Exactly. So we need to get them involved. So a time came when after lunch, our little girl, who was about 1.5 at the time, would run and bring the broom.
For
because she knew, she knew. So when children grow to see parents get involved, it's very important. So children need to learn how to cook. Children need to learn how to wash utensils. Children need to learn how to wash their own clothes. I'll tell you this.
And daddy also needs to be involved in that
daddy
training.
Needs to be involved in that training. Because remember that children are not only told, they see. So it's important for parents to be intentional about this housework thing. Because back in school, there were children who the parents used to bring children. They used to bring clothes over the weekend. And take the dirty ones. So now the parent has become a slave to the child. Why? Because the child was never trained how to wash. If you don't train the child how to cook, the child will forever spend money in restaurants, and yet they could have bought food and kept it at home. What
Which
happens
is cheap, actually.
Exactly.
Potatoes, cooking oil, gas.
And who knows, you could go to another country to study, and maybe you're living alone, and you cannot sustain yourself. You are not self-reliant. So these life skills are very critical. We are not punishing them. We are training them.
It's a good conversation here. I hope that you've picked a few things. Jesse talks about chores, and I thought that is something that we could talk about. And thank you so much for clarifying. Daddies, get involved. There's nothing wrong with you washing utensils. Nothing wrong with washing clothes. Nothing wrong. So please be as involved as you can. Because that's what a model father is. A model father is present. He is present. What are the other things? There were 3 things that we shared. He's present.
He's present. He first of all, he models after God.
Models after God.
He lives an exemplary life. And then he's present. To mentor, train, and equip the children.
That's a show for this morning, and may you enjoy your Happy Father's Day for like last week. May your children take you out. May your mother, may your wife take you out and be celebrated, because we celebrate you here on Family TV, on the Family Talk Show. Kale, let's catch up next week on Wednesday at 8 a.m. My name is John Nkore. Thanks so much, Jesse, for having this conversation.
Thank you, John. I hope that has been a blessing to our viewers.
Thank you
Be
too.
blessed as we become model fathers.